So Chris, tell me about the very first supplement that you developed for Vegetology and how it happened.
Sure. So as a team, we've each been working in this industry, health and beauty, developing supplements and products for over 20 years. And we've worked for some of the biggest health and beauty retailers, brands in the world. Mm-hmm. We started Vegetology back in 2010, and the first product we launched was Omega3. And I've got to say, it's still our baby. It's the one we're most proud of. Omega3 is effectively an alternative, an algal alternative to fish oil for Omega3.
Okay.
And the way we got into this, or you mentioned how did it come about, we were shocked at the level of deficiency of Omega3 in the population, because Omega3 is pretty well known, but it's not a vitamin as such, even though it's essential. It wasn't getting the press that being deficient in vitamin D or calcium or something would get. But the health impacts, the negative health impact on immunity, just brain development, heart health, it was quite astounding. So that was why we got into it. And also for vegans and vegetarians, people were using things like flax and chia as sources of Omega3, which, as healthy as they are terrible sources of real usable Omega3, bioavailable Omega3, if you like, because they contain Omega3 in the form of ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, which the body needs to convert to be useful. But that conversion is very small, if at all. So we were finding that people are taking products they think is overcoming deficiency, and it just isn't. It's no good. So I guess some consumers were kind of kidding themselves or being misled. So that's how it came about. And we found that fish, from our research, fish don't produce Omega3. They get Omega3 by eating algae. So we basically did the research to cut out the middleman or the middle fish, go straight to the algae, and that's how we developed the product. So lots of different projects, loads of development time, and ultimately we ended up with a capsule that has a high dose, as high as fish oil, dose of Omega3.
Wow. And you mentioned that there's previously that there's a certain amount of real fish that go into producing a traditional fish oil supplement. Can you talk a bit about that and kind of what the difference is between your product?
Sure. So it's a stat that we're very proud of, actually. So if you were a fish oil supplement user, for every bottle of fish oil you take, it's using about 35 to 50 fish. So for every person we can get to use Omega3 instead of their bottle of fish oil, we're saving that number of fish. And we know from our research and stats that about 30% of our customers of Omega3 were fish oil users. So actually, when we look at the numbers, we're saving millions of fish every year. And it makes us very proud because it's not an insignificant number. We all hear about fish stocks being down. We know the negative impact of lower fish stocks in the sea, lowering the pH of the water, which can kill phytoplankton. People might not be aware of this, but phytoplankton produce half of the oxygen for the planet. As much oxygen for the planet as trees do is phytoplankton. If we lose that, we all die. So I might be getting a bit far-fetched, but in short, increasing the fish stocks, using less fish from the sea is a good thing. Yeah. Let alone the purity and other side of it, the veganism side.
Yeah, so it's all connected in a way.
Exactly.
Back to the planet.
We don't want to save millions of fish every year. We want to save hundreds of millions of fish a year. So that's why we don't just target vegans and vegetarians with this. We're targeting anybody who uses fish oil for Omega3.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you decide? So you've did Omega3 and you went on to develop a whole lot of other products. What inspired you to move on to developing the next products that you have? Because you have a very interesting range of supplements. How did you come about? How did it come about that you got this full range?
The main background for us is looking at nutritional gaps. So is there a demographic of people, a part of the population that is not getting a certain nutrient or nutrients? And that's the main way we get to the products that we've got. But then it's talking to the market, talking to people. What is it that you need that you're lacking? So that's where the anti-fatigue type projects came from. We looked at alternatives to chondroitin for joint products. Chondroitin comes from shark cartilage. Horrendous, the idea that sharks are killed for something that we're taking in supplements. So sometimes it's from nutritional gaps, sometimes it's the market telling us, And yeah, we just go away and get the textbooks out and talk to the experts, talk to the universities, and see what we can come up with.
Okay. So who is involved in creating these new formulas? How does it come about?
So we've got a team at Vegetology. Myself, Mark and Jamie are the founders of Vegetology.
Okay.
And we are all in the lab coats with the whiteboards, the chalkboards, doing bits and pieces of research. Once we've got a topic we're passionate about, we engage external experts. So we've worked with loads of universities in the UK. We've got lots of projects on at the moment. We pump much of our revenue back into research to come up with new products. So, as I say, we've got the team within the company and then a big network of colleagues who are just experts in their field.
Yeah, okay. And how does it look? Tell me about what does it look like at Vegetology HQ? Do you guys have, you mentioned lab coats, do you have like this big manufacturing plant, or how does it look?
Yeah, so you can probably envisage these bubbling test tubes. Yeah. It's not quite there, but it's on the way.
Okay.
So we do have a lab where we have a play with different ingredients and plants. We get plants, we're trying to extract different parts from those plants. And we do now have our own manufacturing in the same building. So the tablets that you see in our product, we make them in-house. Okay. It's just so that we can control everything from end to end.
Okay. Are your products just for vegans and vegetarians?
No, definitely not. So we're trying to produce products that are suitable for everybody. And as I say, that's regardless of lifestyle, dietary choice, religion. We basically want to plug nutritional gaps, but we want to offer nutritional solutions that are good for the planet. So as well as being non-animal source or non-dairy source, we want to make sure they're not kind of contradictory. We're not taking crops that destroy a local habitat. Right. So there are loads of considerations that go into our products. And lots of people are more interested and informed about nutrition and about nutrients and where they come from. So purity, quality, performance are central now. Yeah. And they're our pillars too. So if you're looking for quality supplements, that's what we're about.
Okay. So coming back to your specific supplements, why should someone who eats meat consider taking Opti3, your Omega3 supplement, rather than a traditional Omega3 supplement, for example?
Yeah, so Omega3 in an average diet comes from fish, but we know that the government recommendation is to eat a maximum of 2 plates of fish a week. And that's because, as nice as fish are, they swim in polluted waters, and they're great at taking in toxins from those waters. So that's the reason people say don't take too much, because you don't want to overdo the mercury and such like. And it's the same with fish oil supplements. They're ultimately from fish. So putting aside people who don't want to eat fish for dietary reasons, there are purity or just sustainability reasons. Why not? Opti3 is completely pure. We don't get this from the sea. We originally got an algal strain from the sea, but we brew this like beer in a special pharmaceutical quality facility. So nothing gets in, nothing goes out. We know exactly what it is. Right. So it's completely pure as the driven snow. And that, I think, for anybody, meat eaters, fish eaters, sports nutrition in particular, they want to know the purity, and it's 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Then coming to your VegVit, which is your multivitamin, what are the benefits of taking VegVit?
So multivitamins are a catch-all, if you like, for nutrients. So most people are deficient in something. It might just be a little bit. You might, I dare say, not many people I know have a completely balanced diet as much as they hope to. So that's the benefit of a multivitamin. So in VegVit, we've got 26 minerals and vitamins to just try and basically get those levels into the body. And what we've done with the VegVit formula, or the tablet, is we've designed it in such a way that it doesn't just clump together and pass through the body, which is often a concern with the multivitamin. You see it in the news. Do they just not work and go through? Yeah. So our tablet, I'm sorry if this sounds a bit dull, but it's compartmentalised. So we know one nutrient will absorb at a different rate to another nutrient, which is nowhere near another nutrient. So when you take it, the tablet breaks down in its own time, and we know each nutrient has the best chance of being absorbed and being beneficial.
Right, okay. So talk us through the benefits of people taking vitamin B12.
So B12 is all about energy, bodily processes, so bodily reactions, boosting metabolism. Vitamin B12 deficiency is linked to the immune system, the nervous system problems. It can cause anemia. So people should take vitamin B12 who cannot get it from their diet. That includes vegans and vegetarians, because you cannot get B12 from a plant. Meat eaters will probably get enough from their diet, but a lot of the population is deficient. So by taking B12, you basically be a bit more energised is the thing you will notice.
Okay. How about your VitaShine, which is your vitamin D3 supplement? What are the benefits to taking that?
Okay, so vitamin D is most famously linked with immunity, but of course it's also linked with healthy teeth, gums, bones, joints. And the reason we developed this is kind of twofold. Vitamin D3 normally comes from animal sources. So a lot of people didn't know that. So vegetarian supplements, for instance, would contain vitamin D3, but they're from sheep's skin or sheep's wool. So the vegan community said, no, that's not vegan. Right. Some vegetarian community said, well, it might be suitable. So instead, those communities used vitamin D2, which is it's an analogue. What I mean by that is the body needs to convert that D2 into D3 to be usable. Yeah. That conversion rate is very, very low. Some scientific papers think it might be almost zero.
Wow.
A reliable paper we saw said it's 87% less effective than vitamin D3.
Oh gosh.
So you can imagine people taking D2 thinking they're getting enough vitamin D. They're just not. Wow. So we developed vitamin D3 under the VitaShine name by getting it from a lichen. A lichen is a plant. It's like a moss, and it grows. In this country, it grows on gravestones, on the kind of ceilings of caves and such like. But around the world, it grows on mountainsides. But grown in the right locations, at the right altitude, very specific locations, it contains vitamin D3 at a level that we could harness. Yeah. So that was the background of VitaShine, and we've managed to extract this vitamin D3. So we've got the world's first vegan suitable vitamin D3.
How did you go hiking up a mountain to find a sample of lichen? Like, how did you find out it was in the lichen?
So we reviewed some research that had been published about 10 or 15 years ago, and it looked really encouraging. But of course, this was lab-based work. Right. And we got the calculators out thinking, hang on, if this is real and we can get a bit of a better yield, this could be viable. We literally looked online and we spoke to people all around the world to send us some lichen. We didn't tell them why. Okay. So we ended up with lots and lots of lichen material that we sent to a lab to test. And we found some contained absolutely no vitamin D3, right. Some contained a little bit, and some in certain areas contained enough to be viable. So what we then did, we created a supply chain. So we made sure we could secure the source, made sure it was responsibly sourced and it was sustainable. And we did all the extraction work to actually get this vitamin D3 out and into a form we can use in the product.
Incredible.
So a lot of work, but it was quite an interesting project.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then you've obviously got your, which we've spoken about, the Omega3, which is your Omega3 supplement. Can you just take us briefly through the benefits of taking this supplement?
Yeah, so Omega3, probably most famously known for heart health, brain development. DHA, which is one of the main forms of Omega3, makes up a big part of the grey matter in the brain. It's part of the makeup of the cornea in our eyes. So it's one of the building blocks, basically, for our brains and such like. So really important, and a lot of us are deficient. So let's say Opti3, it's a high-dose Omega3, so it's all of the benefits of fish oil without the fish.
And then you also mentioned your joint supplement, which now doesn't contain any sources of shark cartilage, which is also quite shocking. And I think everyone knows that's where it comes from. So talk us about this particular supplement as well.
Joint V it's got lots in it. Basically, we looked at what do you need for healthy joints and bones, and it's vitamins. So we need vitamin C, we need vitamin D, we need vitamin K. So we've got that combination. We also need some minerals, calcium, magnesium. That combination alone has some really good data on bones. And then we combine it with glucosamine, very, very well known for bone and joint care. And you mentioned chondroitin. Often chondroitin and glucosamine are known to work well together, but you rightly said it comes from shark cartilage, which is just horrendous. So we studied the structure of chondroitin, what makes that work, because it works by lubricating the joint.
Yeah.
It's some of the fluid around the joint to keep the knees from seizing up. And we managed to combine some plants or plant extracts to mimic the structure of chondroitin. We call it phytodroitin, phyto being plant, droitin just to make people recognise the difference.
Yeah.
And so Joint V contains the phytodroitin, the chondroitin, vitamin C, D3, K2, calcium, magnesium, really high strength formula. And again, we've had some fantastic feedback on this. And as with all of our products, we just recommend give it a try.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who has aches and pains or just the daily strain on the bones and joints isn't quite where you want it to be, if you've got an active lifestyle or just a little bit later in life, by all means, give it a try. And if it doesn't work for you, we'll give you your money back. You know, we stand by the formula.
Okay. Then coming to one of your latest additions to the range, which is the Active Energy Complex. Can you take us briefly through the benefits and features of this supplement?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I met anybody who doesn't tell me that fatigue and tiredness is a problem for them.
Yeah.
You know, we're all busier in our lives. Kids running around at home can keep you on your toes and tired. The boss can give you more work, but also some demographics suffer from fatigue as part of the side effect of an impact of their diet. Vegans very often complain of fatigue and tiredness. The same with vegetarians. It's a product that we've been asked to develop by existing customers of ours for many years. And what we've done, we've avoided things like caffeine and stimulants that give you a quick hit, but it doesn't last and you might lay there at night wide awake. We've looked at vitamins and minerals that are proven to work by boosting metabolism, bodily reactions. So vitamin B12, for instance, it will help boost your metabolism. We use iron, we use vitamin C, coenzyme Q10, all proven to kind of normalise your bodily functions and reduce that tiredness and fatigue.
Yeah.
But what we've also done is studied traditional Chinese medicine, and there are two medicinal herbs in particular, rhodiola rosea and Schisandra chinensis, which are known as adaptogens, and they're famous in traditional Chinese medicine for boosting performance, reducing energy and tiredness. The reason they're called adaptogens is they work with your body. So if you are in the middle of the day and you need a bit of a boost, because they will help to give you that boost, keep you active, keep you awake, aware. But if on an evening you need to relax, it knows it's the time of day. They will help you relax. So actually, obviously, this is all great in theory, but when we put this into the product, the combination, we tried this on lots and lots of people, and the feedback's been incredible. So not only for fighting fatigue and tiredness, but we've had individuals tell us that yes, they're tired during the day because they're up all night from insomnia and just suffering to sleep. They found by taking this, not only have they got the energy in the day, but it's helping to normalise their sleep patterns.
Yeah.
And we believe, I can't prove it down to every person, but we believe this is partly down to those adaptogenic herbs doing their adaptogenic job, working with your body. So it's a fascinating formula. And again, I just recommend it if people are suffering, give it a try. I'd love to hear how people get on with it.
Yeah, okay. Are your products across the board suitable for children?
So the formulas are, so the levels of nutrients we use are suitable. We always recommend getting advice from a doctor or GP before supplementing for children. They'll take the whole kind of medical history of that child into consideration, but also some of the products are quite large. They're quite large tablets. We wouldn't dream of wanting a child to take something that they struggle to take. We are looking at more products specific for children going forward, so it's a kind of watch your space on that front. But if any parents out there have got questions wanting to give a specific supplement to their children, by all means get them to drop us a line and we can chat.
Yeah.
We know that, for instance, Opti3 is quite a large capsule. Lots of the parents give it to their children by just squeezing the capsule, adding the oil to their meal. So that there are always ways and means.
Yeah, okay. And coming back to what you said about future products, are you able to tell us what you're working on next, or what you plan to develop in the future?
So right now, I hope there's no competition listening, but right now we're working on a children's chewable tablet that we want to incorporate Omega3, obviously algal Omega3, normal multivits, but also some iron. So a bit of a catch-all product, but it's getting the taste right and it's getting the stability right. We don't want the thing to go off, but we got to make it taste right. The kids are not going to want to taste something that tastes like a pond water, but it's a big challenge, and that's where our team kind of scratch our heads and we keep going. But we're always being asked for a children's product, and I want people to know we're not just avoiding this; we're actively trying our best.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So, is it safe to say that all supplements, I mean, you step into, for example, a Holland and Barrett or the vitamin section at a Boots, and there's rows upon rows of vitamins, all saying this is the vitamin C supplement or whatever the label says, but they're not all the same. And why is that?
So many contain animal origin vitamins. So famously vitamin D, D3, vitamin A and E can often come from animal sources. So it's important that people know that. I mentioned chondroitin earlier. Lots of people who take chondroitin don't know it comes from shark cartilage. Ironically, we spoke to a lot of people that didn't realise cod liver oil comes from cod. They just thought it's just called that. And it's amazing, really. But obviously, once people are aware of that, they might not necessarily be vegans or vegetarians, but I would dream of using anything that's come from a shark. I know people have got real issues with fish and sustainability. So with Vegetology, we have a pledge that everything is vegan, vegetarian suitable. Nothing ever comes from animal sources. We'll stand by the purity of all of our ingredients. So everything we do is with sustainability in mind and responsible sourcing. So whereas I'm not here to kind of bash other brands, that's what we're about. And we welcome customers to come and have a chat with us, tell us what they think, tell us what they need. And as I say, we always offer that 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if somebody tries the product, it doesn't do what they expect, we'll give you your money back. That's how much we stand by what we do.
You mentioned purity as well. What does purity mean in the context of supplements and how they're manufactured?
When we buy any ingredient, so any individual nutrient, we want to know how it's been made, where it's been made, even down to what the extraction method might have been, if they have used fertilisers, are they natural or organic, are they chemical, is there any potential for contamination? With the Omega3, for instance, we use algal origin not only to avoid fish, but because we know it's produced in this vessel. Nothing's gone into that vessel that we don't know about. And it's the same for every single ingredient that we use. So if we're not satisfied the purity is guaranteed, we just won't use it. And so that's not me having a go at other brands. No. That's just what we stand for.
Okay. And so you pass that on to the consumers so that they can also trust that you've used the highest degree of purity and you've been quite stringent in your process for sourcing everything that goes into the vitamins.
Exactly.
Okay, great. And so it's just the chewable children's vitamin that you're working on for the future. Is there anything else that you would love to be able to produce? If you had like a wish list or a bucket list, any particular area that you'd like to go into?
We would love to do an infant formula, a baby formula that is vegan and vegetarian suitable, because they all the effective ones contain fish oil. Basically, and some animal origin vitamins. So we've got the formula in mind. The problem is it's a lot of products. It's a massive, massive investment. Now, as much as we like to invest, we're only a small company. So one day, that's what we want to do one day.
Amazing. Okay.